Welcome to Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James, coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at today's headlines. President Tinubu decorates new service chiefs, urges them to deal with security threat. Senate confirms Bernard Doro as minister. Plus, Israel confirms identities of deceased Gaza hostages returned yesterday. We'll bring you details of the stories and more in just a moment. Please. Good morning once again. This is Spectrum News at 10. First in the news is a report that President Bola Tinubu has decorated the newly appointed service chiefs with their new ranks. The short ceremony took place in the council chamber of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The new Chief of Defense Staff, formerly Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, was decorated with the new rank of General. The new Chief of Army Staff, formerly Major General Wahidi Shaibu, was decorated with the rank of Lieutenant General. The Chief of Naval Staff, formerly Rear Admiral E.D. Abbas, was decorated as Vice Admiral, while the Chief of Air Staff, formerly Air Vice Marshal Kelvin Aneke, was decorated with the rank of Air Marshal. The Chief of Defense Intelligence, formerly Major General Emmanuel Undeneye, who was retained by the President, was elevated to the rank of Lieutenant General. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has declared that his administration is committed to providing a credible, secure, variable and unusable identity management system across the board, asserting that such a system is fundamental to the nation's developmental goals. According to a statement by the presidential spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, President Tinubu spoke at the State House during the launch of the NINAUTH Hub, a digital, mobile-based identity authentication application developed by the National Identity Management Commission. He added that his administration is leveraging technology to enhance efficiency, transparency, and accountability in governance. In the meantime, the presidency has revealed the reason Miriam Sanda, who was sentenced to death in 2020 for the murder of her husband, was granted clemency by the president. Speaking in an interview with newsmen, Special Advisor to President Tinubu on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, said Miriam was given clemency, not a pardon. Onanuga further explained that the crime was that of passion, adding that her kids were put into consideration. Recalled that President Tinubu reduced the death sentence passed on Miriam Sanda to 12 years imprisonment. Away from that, the federal government said it has released about 2.3 billion naira to pay arrears and backlogs of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and other university-based unions. A statement signed by the Director, Press and Public Relations, Ministry of Education, Folashade Boworo, said the funds was released through the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. He further disclosed that the federal government, through the Ministry of Finance and the OAGF, is finalizing the release of third-party non-statutory deductions and pensions remittance to the Nigerian University Pension Management. Now, this is expected to be completed in the coming days. The Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Alausa, while providing updates on the ongoing engagement with ASU and other tertiary institutions unions, stated that President Bola Tinubu remains resolute in his determination to resolve all lingering welfare and funding issues in a transparent, fair and sustainable manner. Let's move now to the Red Chambers, where the Senate has confirmed Bernard Doro as a Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria following a brief screening session that lasted less than 30 minutes. Doro, who becomes a third ministerial nominee from Plateau State, used the opportunity to outline his vision for fostering an inclusive humanitarian ecosystem in the country. He promised to create a humanitarian ecosystem that is inclusive, guided by impartiality and independence. Doro told lawmakers during his appearance that he will create synergy between security agencies to better target the individuals affected by crises, which he notes is always a challenge. In politics, the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Lawrence Jakbo, has filed a suit at the Federal High Court in Abuja against the Bayelsa State House of Assembly over an alert plan to impeach him. In their originating summons, Lawrence alleged that members of the Assembly were under pressure to remove him from office because he refused to resign from the People's Democratic Party, the platform on which he and the Governor Dohi Diri were elected. While Governor Diri recently resigned from the PDP, Lawrence has remained in the party. Through his counsel, Reuben Eguagba, the Deputy Governor also claimed that some local government chairpersons, including Alice Tangje of Sabama local government, were being threatened with removal for similarly refusing to defect from the PDP alongside with the governor. We move now to Africa, where the United Nations has called for an immediate ceasefire in El Fasher, the capital of Sudan's North Darfur region. It was captured by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces on Sunday, and there have been many reports of atrocities committed against civilians by its fighters. Addressing the Security Council on Thursday, Assistant Secretary General for Africa, Martha Akinye, said the conflict has deteriorated even further since her last briefing. She spoke of the widespread suffering and new surges of horrific violence, particularly in El Fasher, which had been under siege for more than 500 days. Still in Africa, protests have escalated in major cities across Tanzania as opposition supporters denounce Wednesday's presidential and parliamentary elections as a sham. Hundreds of demonstrators also crossed into Kenyan territories, barricading roads, lighting bonfires, and tearing down posters of President Samia Hassan along the way. Kenya police said 2 people died after fleeing running battles with Tanzania police. Protesters accused the government of undermining democracy as the main opposition leader is in jail and another opposition figure was disqualified from the election, bolstering Samia's chances of winning. We move now to the foreign scene, where Israel said it had identified the remains of the hostages returned to them. According to them, the bodies were returned by Hamas on Thursday. A statement from the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said the families of the deceased men had been informed after completion of the identification process by the National Institute of Forensic Medicine. Recall that militant took 251 people hostage during Hamas' attack on Israel on October 7, 2023, which triggered the war in Gaza. Shahar Baruch was taken from Kibbutz Be'eri to Gaza and killed during a failed armed rescue operation 2 months later. He was 25 when he died. Amram Cooper, age 84, at the time of his adoption, was kidnapped with his wife, Norit Cooper, from their home in Kibbutz Nir Oz. So on the foreign scene, French police have arrested 5 more people, including a prime suspect over this month daring Louvre Museum robbery. Dozens of detectives have been hunting for 4 thieves who used a truck with a moving lift and cutting gear to break into a first-floor gallery at the museum on October 19, fleeing with jewelry worth an estimated $102 million. The latest arrests come after 2 suspects were charged with theft and criminal conspiracy. They are suspected of being the 2 who broke into the gallery, while 2 accomplices waited outside. Party's prosecutor, Laure Baku, said the 5 suspects detained on Wednesday included a man suspect whose DNA linked him to the bizarre 7-minute heist, though none of the loot had been found. Still to come in the news. Chelsea blocked Enzo Maresca from leaving Old Trafford. Stay tuned for details of this in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. We move now to a business scene where the federal government has intensified efforts to implement the national single window at Nigeria's sports by 2026. Vice President Kashim Shettima said the initiative aims to harmonize sport documentation, reduce human contact, and enhance transparency in the cargo clearance. He described the plan as a game-changer for port operations. Speaking at the second meeting of the Port and Customs Efficiency Committee at the Presidential Villa, Shettima said the policy targets a major reduction in cargo clearance time. According to him, the goal is to make Nigerian port rank among the top 3 most efficient trade gateways in Africa. Still in business, petroleum marketers have warned that the pump price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, could exceed 1,000 naira per litre following President Bola Tinubu's approval of a 15% import tariff on fuel import. The new policy, which takes effect after a 30-day transition period expected to end on 21st November 2025, is part of the government's strategy to protect local refiners and reduce the influx of cheaper imported products that threatens domestic refining investments. However, marketers say the move could backfire and push retail prices beyond the reach of average Nigerians. In health, researchers at the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, Yaba, Lagos, have stated that the institute is working towards boosting capacity for local vaccine and drug manufacturing through evidence-based clinical trials. The researchers spoke during the October edition of the Institute's monthly media chat in Lagos, which highlighted the Institute's breakthrough in HIV management, clinical trials, and cervical cancer prevention. The scientists assured the local manufacturing of essential medicines could improve the country's health sector as well as health outcomes. They emphasized the need to strengthen clinical trial systems and ensure that research better serves patients and communities. Still in health, the Nigerian Medical Association in partnership with the Diatom Impact Foundation, has donated sanitary towels to female inmates across correctional facilities in Nigeria as part of efforts to promote menstrual hygiene and women's health. In a statement issued by the NMA Publicity Secretary, Dr. Menia Bature, the association said the initiative was inspired by recent findings from a Senate investigative panel which identified poor menstrual hygiene among young female inmates as a major concern. The MNA, in response, collaborated with the Diatom Impact Foundation, founded by Dr. Akindele Akintoyin, to address the issue through advocacy and direct intervention. A delegation led by the NMA President, Professor Bala Andu, represented by the first Vice President, Dr. Benjamin Olowo, joined the Diatom Impact team on a courtesy visit to the national headquarters of the Nigerian Correctional Service in Abuja. We move now to sports news, where Chelsea have blocked their Italian manager Enzo Maresca from returning to Italy to manage Juventus. Reports say the Blues have no intention of letting Maresca leave. This is following reports that Juventus had identified him as a possible candidate for their managerial role. Recall that the Turn recently sacked their manager Igor Tudor earlier this week after a series of poor results. Still in sport, Jannik Sinner e-Spar's Francisco Cerundolo 7-5-6-1 at the Paris Masters to set up a quarter-final clash with Ben Shelton, while reigning champions Alexander Zverev aimed a straight-set win over Alejandro Davidovich Fokine in the third round. A maiden crown in the French capital will return Sinner to #1 in the world's ranking after current incumbent Carlos Alcaraz suffered a shock early exit at the hands of Britain Cameron Norrie. The Italian four-time Grand Slam champion is yet to drop a set in the tournament as he hones in on what would be the fifth title of the season. Excuse me. Sinner edged a close first set, which featured 4 consecutive breaks, which he pounced on 21st ranked Argentina Cerundolo's serve at 6-5 to seize the initiative. The 24-year-old then immediately stepped it up into the second set, raising into a 5-1 lead before serving out to book a meeting with US 5th seed Shelton in Friday's quarterfinals. On entertainment news, famous Nigerian musician Adekunle Gold has revealed that he is still battling sickle cell crisis. He made this known in a video of his latest interview shared on social media. While lamenting the pain caused by the disease, Adekunle Gold disclosed that he has been on lifelong medication since he was 5 years old. And that's all we have for you at this time. Be sure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James. Enjoy the rest of your day and thank you for watching.